What's cracking, YouTube Fluent crew? What's cracking? So I'm here with another video with my lovely wife.
Hi, how are you all doing?
And so, as you can see in the title of the video, we're going to go ahead and speak on something we've been keeping busy with recently. And I apologize, that's kind of the reason why I've not made a video in a while. But here we are to break it down a little bit, not to be too personal, but we're going to break it down a little bit here. So, with the past few weeks, we have been undergoing the IVF process, which stands for in vitro fertilization. For those of you who have been through this or thought about it, you already know about it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to explain what that is. If you don't know what it is, then feel free to look it up. But otherwise, so we're going to go through a brief process of it. So, so we actually started that process about 2 months ago. Month and a half, 2 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, like end of June.
And with it, the first step of the process is the woman has to take birth control. That's used to regulate some hormones and whatnot. And you might say, birth control, that's actually supposed to stop you from getting pregnant. But that some of the other hormones in it are going to be used to regulate her body so that, that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
so,
I guess it's supposed to like help the doctors pinpoint when your your period's going to start and everything, so they can control it, instead of your body controlling it, so they can monitor your ovulation in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm still a little fuzzy on some details, but the doctors, I trust them. They went to school way longer than I intended to ever go, so I'm going to trust them. Of course, can't necessarily trust all doctors. But we ended up having really good doctors. We're really confident in their abilities, so we're going to leave it that part at that. But, so, in light of that, so, that's a 2-week process, I believe, 2 or 3 week process. So she went through that. The second part of the process is her having injections. These are a different set of hormones that are injected with a needle, with a syringe, and I actually have footage of me preparing the needles that I put in right here. I wanted to record myself doing this right here, just for the experience. So we'll unpack this needle, take off the big needle. Then I take one of these right here. Take off this little thing right here. This is sodium chloride. I ain't gonna worry about it. Just know that it's sodium chloride. Tripping. Now I take 2 of these little Minipure bottles. 2 of these Minipure bottles. 2 of them. You gotta swab them down with an alcohol wipe. Then I take one of these Q-Cat, take it out of the little paperwork. These things are actually kind of annoying. I don't know why they packaged them like this.
But I screw this on here like so. And then I can pull this back like so. And then first I put in this sodium chloride. Put that back in now. Then I take one of these, squeeze this down out right now. Give it a little twist like so. And the mix is actually really, really easy. Then once it's mixed up, you just pull it back up into the syringe. We actually throw that away now because that's empty. But these are only 75 mil or something. I don't know the actual measurements, but it's 75, and she's got to take 2 of them for a total of 150. Pour it all into the syringe like so. Then I can take this off and throw that away. In fact, you know what? Instead of taking that loose, I could have just screwed this on because I could throw the Q cap away too. And then, once I have it all mixed up, take one of these needles right here. These are small needles. Screw it on like so, and then that's ready. So when it's time to go, I just take it off, inject, and that's good. Now for this particular one, this is one that has to be refrigerated. So as soon as I get this one put together, it's going back in now because the person who's getting it ain't even here to get it. So use an alcohol wipe to swab off the little mixture joint here. And you always got to make sure your hands are clean. Take this joint off here. Here. Oh yeah. This is one of them times when you use the big, super thick needle to go ahead and mix stuff up. So you got to screw this joint on right here like two. Uncap it. Look how big that freaking needle is, man. Crazy. Just jab it on down in there. Squeeze the liquid down there and do it. I think it's really sterilized water. But either way, it works just like with the Menopure. Squeeze the liquid down in there. Mix it around like soup. Nothing too crazy or anything like that. You ain't got to shake it up. It actually mixes pretty easily. But then once you get all nice and mixed up, you just pull it back out like so. Make sure you get it all in there. You can actually throw that away. But the big needle, unless you can take that kind of punishment, don't do it. But I wouldn't put April through that, so that's not what happened. So I'm just gonna squeeze on the small needle, and for the actual stuff, I would just take this joint off. But since it's not ready for that yet, we're gonna slide this on right back up in here and put this back in the refrigerator, so it can stay refrigerated like it's supposed to. We've been at this process of doing the injections for about a week and a half. It was Thursday 2 weeks ago. This coming Thursday will be 2 weeks of this part of the process that I've actually been a portion of. It's been exciting and nerve-wracking and nail-biting all in one. So it's kind of crazy to think about how this process is going to culminate, and at the end of everything said and done, April will be pregnant with our first child or children, because it is a possibility. The doctor said that even implanting one embryo could potentially split into multiple. Whatever God blesses us with, I will be happy with. I will be ecstatic because I'm stupid excited to be a father. And I'm beside myself in excitement just thinking about this process. But just to go ahead and get an overview of the process, me and April have been going through this IVF journey. Unfortunately, through a lot of misinformation and misdiagnosis, we have ended up going through this route because, she had previous doctors who only did part of the work, where the fertility doctors were like, we're going to go ahead and knock this out, and it should have been done from the beginning, but it wasn't. So that was their pretty much way of saying all doctors you have prior to this were incompetent. But anyway, so not going to get into anything specific because I am not, even though I'm doing this YouTube thing, there are still some things that shall remain private. So, but just know that there were things that were previously hindering us that should not have, again, according to the doctor that we currently have, should not be hindering us from having kids the normal way. So we had to resort in the IVF treatment, which has been a blessing because I have a job that actually allows the benefits take care of most of what has needed to be paid for so far, and I'm eternally grateful. Thank God for that. So again, very, very, very super excited. This has been a long time coming. I can't wait. And my very first message to my child being recorded. I can't wait until you're here. I have a lot of love to give. I can't wait to see you. I love you, even though you're not here, but I still already have love for you. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to put a face with the name that we've already picked out for you. And, just know that Daddy already loves you very, very much. And Just know that I'm insanely ecstatic for your arrival, whenever that may be.
And so with those injections, I would put those in. I would inject her with those nightly, and that went about for about 2 weeks as well.
Yeah.
So the doctors made jokes and was like, "Well, the guy usually enjoys this part." I'm like, "What kind of guy?"
I hope you didn't enjoy
Really?
it.
Like,
I sure didn't.
what in the world kind of guy appreciates being that weird? But okay.
Glad it's over.
So
Yeah,
I was like, that's weird that somebody would enjoy this, but have a messed up relationship in order to enjoy this. But okay. So went ahead and did that for 2 whole weeks, and at the same time we both had to take this medicine, which was awful, god awful. But we muscled through that part anyway, and so then we get to stage 3, which is the part we actually just took care of today, which is once the hormones that were injected do what they need to do, they trick the body into making multiple eggs. Normally, women will already know this, but anybody who watches this, men included, will find out that normally your body only makes one egg during that cycle. But in this process, those injections trick the body into making multiple eggs. And of course, the more eggs that you make, the body makes, the more chances you have of having a successful pregnancy, getting to that point. So we were lucky enough to make a total of 15. However, unfortunate situation, there's a lot going on, only caused us to be able to retrieve 8 of those. So, we're happy, we're blessed that was able to happen.
It's a blessing.
So we're not going to complain. It only takes 1, but we have 8 at the moment. So now on to the next step that we're waiting for the next 2 weeks. They are going to take those eggs to the labs, test them for all kinds of genetic anomalies and all kinds of unnecessary, awful things that could, lead to bad pregnancies or syndromes that are unwanted. So you can elect to just go ahead past that part, but of course, since it's our first kid, we want to make sure we wanted to be safer than sorry. So we went ahead and elected to go ahead and take care of that, do that process. And so, again, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, they're going to go ahead and take care of that, and then they'll let us know how many of those 8 eggs survived that process. I'm hoping for all 8, even though, again, we won't necessarily need all 8. But let's just say a year or 2 from now, we want to have kids or whatnot. We already have the means or whatnot. So we can skip the first 3 steps of the process and go straight to the last step of the IVF process, which is once they have tested them, made sure they're all good and all that stuff, they will say, okay, they're going to set them aside. They're going to be like, here is the boy group of healthy eggs that are still available, and at this point they'll actually be embryos because they'll have both the egg and the sperm in them, so they'll actually be embryos. And
or bladder-cysts or something like that.
Yeah, some of that high technological talk that I have no concern, I don't care. But, they'll have the healthy ones, they'll have the healthy boys, and then they'll have the healthy girls. So they'll give us the option. They'll be like, okay, so do you want a healthy boy or do you want a healthy girl? And so we'll choose, and we won't know until then because, who knows? They may come back and say it's all boys that were healthy, or they may say all girls were healthy. So it really just depends on what they say at that point before we can actually choose what we want. So there's still possibly going to be a gender reveal In fact, me personally, I want to regardless. So, what do you think?
I mean, I'm just fine with just the baby shower.
Baby shower, gender
Yeah, I'm
reveal,
just like,
all that, and all the above normal stuff that people do when they have babies.
yeah. Can I just say something about like what I went through?
Sure.
I mean, for women who are going through this process, like, just be aware. But I'm just gonna go over what you are going to be going through from this process. Like, once you take the birth control, you're gonna be feeling hormonal and moody. It might mess with your eating patterns. And when you take the injections, that's when you're going to feel like, more moodiness. You're going to feel irritability. You're going to feel nauseated and hungry at the same time, like pregnancy symptoms. Um, yeah, so just wanted to let y'all know how to be prepared for that. And one of the things I did experience, you're going to feel, more likely to have sex than normal, but you can. So just be prepared. So you're gonna feel horny, basically, extremely. So
Since you mentioned that part, I will admit that because there were parts of it that we could not have sex, or there was also parts that we couldn't even do, like the other stuff too. And let's just say being pent up for about a week and a half was not fun. So when I when I finally got a chance, I was like,
really, video.
but I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, being pent up, not the business. But yeah, so but yeah, so yeah, that part had me stressed out. I was all kinds of in bad moods all the time because it's one thing to voluntarily like miss out on sex, but when you're told that you have to for certain reasons, completely different monster. And I was like,
I think it may have been worse for me because it's like in public places, like I felt horny and I felt like bad. Like, why do I even feel like this in a different place? Like, and I'm not doing anything. It's just weird. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. Plus, you're very achy and everything too. It's like, so it's just.
no. I would say it was worse for me because somebody likes to parade around, and I'm not gonna say how, but somebody likes to parade around, and I was like, really? But yeah, so I was tortured involuntarily. I know she didn't mean to. She didn't do it on purpose, but still, I was tortured a lot. But I was tortured a lot. But yeah, so we made it through that process finally. Today, like I said, we was able to go ahead and knock that part of the life out of the park, and so now we're just waiting for them to give us the results, and then we can finally move on to the next step. So, I mean, do you want to tell? Do you feel comfortable with telling me what the next step is with you?
Well, we just hope that everything will go well, and we're just gonna go through a couple more necessary surgeries. We're not going to go into detail about them, but praying that everything will go well and everything, and go through the egg retrieval. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, we're just waiting on the egg retrieval process to. Well, we just did the egg retrieval process, and we're waiting for them to take a look into the eggs, and we are going to hit you back in about a couple weeks, maybe with an update to see how that goes, and we'll go ahead and end the video here. So we'll catch you later, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, guys.
Hi.
Peace.